Good evening, listeners. Assalamu alaikum. People who are welcome back again to VOD, Voice Out Digital Broadcasting on social media, Facebook, and on YouTube. And we're here today to discuss about, as part of the International Women's Day celebration, we have guests an organization that is formed to deal with cancer um, and its well and its ups and downs and how it affects women and how it affects our society, and also to raise awareness about this disease. And with me today, I have Dr. Ja, who is the president and founder of the C3G, and he will be discussing with me about what C3G is all about and what are their plans and what do they intend to achieve in the Gambia as far as cancer and women is concerned, and as far as the whole Gambia is concerned, and policy wise. So I will bring Dr. Ja on board. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Paos. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. And I hope everything is fine, family wise and work.
Everything is fine, thank God. Alhamdulillah.
Good. Doctor, you are now live and we are now broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube. Welcome to Voice Out Digital. We're here today as part of the International Women's Day celebration. Not just a day celebration, but many are seeing it as a month celebration, and many are saying women should be celebrated throughout the whole year, given the fact of the important role that they play in society and also in national development as well. And without moving forward, we also would want to consider the health of women, and also when they are healthy, what is likely to happen and how productive are they in our society. But before going through that, I understand you are part of or the founder or president of cancer NGO in the Gambia called the C3G. And Doctor, if you could please explain to the listeners what this organization or foundation is all about, what it does, and why is there the need for another body like this to oversee cancer specific alone in the Gambia. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Paos, and thank you for having me on this program. Cancer is a great burden everywhere in the world. And every minute you sit down, as we are sitting down here now, people are dying of cancer. Just in 2018, nearly 10 million people died of cancer worldwide. And double that number were affected with cancer just in 1 year. So it's a very big burden. In the Gambia, the numbers are not very accurate, but we know that the burden is there. Those of us who work in the main hospital in Banjul, every day when you go into the wards, you will see some patients who have cancer, and people are dying because of cancer on a weekly basis in the Gambia. Cancer is a very expensive disease to treat, to diagnose and to treat. And governments cannot do it alone. Even in the West, governments don't do it alone. And you have a lot of cancer charities that deal with cancer. And that is why a couple of years ago, some people came together to look at how we can help the Gambia in terms of treating cancer. And this organization was formed. It is called C3G because of 3 C's that it has. The first C is confrontation, because if you want to deal with anything, if you want to deal with cancer, the first thing is to confront it. So cancer, confrontation. So we deal with confrontation. The second C is care. Those who already have cancer, how we care for them. And the third is consolation. Those who have the late disease, how do we deal with them and console them and give them an end of life that is fit for humans, and not the type of end of life that we see in developing countries. So that is why it is called cancer, confrontation, care, and consolation, in short, C3G. And the objectives, as you can see, are embodied in the name. So if you look at confrontation, what we are looking at is to tell people more about cancer so that they know what it is. People fear things that they don't know. And also to educate people on how to prevent in those cancers that are preventable, how to prevent cancer, and when they have cancer, where to go and how to get help. So this is the confrontation. It's mainly on education, on raising awareness. And then we talk about the care. The care is when the people get the disease. We don't have enough hospitals dealing with cancers in the Gambia. We don't have enough specialists to deal with cancers in the Gambia. How can we alleviate that? How can we help the government in that regard? That when people have cancer, the investigations they need, the tests they need, a lot of them are not available. And often people have to travel abroad to get these tests. How can we do that? This is another aspect which the organization wants to work on. And then finally, for the care also, we talk about the treatment like chemotherapy, like radiotherapy. How can we get it accessible to all people in the Gambia? And finally, we talk about consolation anywhere in the world. There's nowhere in the world where they can prevent all cancers, where they can prevent people coming in late for cancers, and people get late into cancer. So you have places where we call them hospices in the West here. And we don't have any hospice in the Gambia. So people, when they have late cancer, die a very miserable death. Yeah. And we want to also prevent that. So these are the three main aspects that we want to work on, Powers.
Yeah. Thank you. I think there was a general or brief description about what your organization stands to achieve, and Doctor, if I would want to ask, do we have any policy on cancer in the Gambia, just as we have for national AIDS and for AIDS, HIV and AIDS, and for malaria? Do we have any such that will empower the work that you do, or wherever you stand, or whatever recommendation you give to government, you will see it from a legislative point of view, as in whether does the law with the law empower the job that you are doing?
I think cancer is now depending on the general health policies. I am not aware of any specific policy that is available only for cancer. Because you see, one of the problems that we're having is that a lot of the organizations are dealing with infectious diseases. We are more interested in infectious diseases. Although nowadays the WHO is showing people that in the third world we're now having the new epidemic, which is a non-infectious disease epidemic, and we need to concentrate on those things as well. But no specific policy as I am aware. The only thing that we have in the Gambia, which is worth commending, is that it's one of the few countries in West Africa, or even in the third world as a whole, where there is a cancer registry. Which is registering the number of cancers. There are a lot of challenges with it, but we do have that, and we are beginning to know what the extent of the disease is.
Well, then can I say then Gambia is making progress in trying to gather data?
Well, exactly.
In case there should be a cure, or in case we have to refer people, or we have to go to the WHO conference and say, look, we have this number of cancer cases in the Gambia. There is a justifiable reason for us to access funds and support. Is that
exactly? So that data is being made available now, and as I said, there are challenges with it because of the lack of systems and so forth. But the data is there.
But how are these data collected? Because if you go to RVH, sometimes people with malaria sometimes do get mistakenly diagnosed with cancer. If you get high blood, they say you get cancer. And are
Yes.
how valid is that register? How many of that
Yeah.
register data?
it's it it's not as bad as that. It's not as bad as being malaria being, it's Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. That's what they call it now, not RVH. But basically, there are inaccuracies. That's what I was saying,
Yeah.
and that's why I said there are challenges. There are some inaccuracies in the data, because one of the reasons is the way cancer is supposed to be diagnosed.
Mm,
Cancer is supposed to be diagnosed using very specialized equipment and very specialized people in the form of pathologists. And we do have challenges with that. It is just now that we have a Gambian trained pathologist who is coming back into the Gambia now to start doing that type of work. But we used to have guests coming in and out. Sometimes they're not available. And in the clinics, unfortunately, the only way you have to diagnose cancer is what we call a clinical diagnosis. So in cancer, when you want to diagnose it, there's something called the pathological diagnosis, which is the most accurate. It is the only way that you can for sure say there is a cancer. So even if I see a lump in the breast, I cannot be sure it's a cancer until I take a biopsy of it and I send it for the pathologist to look at it. Now, if I am in the clinic and I see it and I have adequate evidence to say it's most likely a cancer, that is the way that we are getting our data in the Gambia. It is not accurate, but it's better than no data at all. And I think what we should do is what you are saying now, what you're suggesting, is to look at some of the inadequacies and
mm.
try to improve on it. I must tell you that there are very qualified people working on that, people who are recognized internationally on cancer, who work in the Gambia, who are trying to work on improving the data.
So, well, the notion that the Gambia healthcare system is is bad in regards to cancer is not as bad as people will put it to be on social media, or every time you see charities coming up said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do a charity for the healthcare system," and claiming that the healthcare system is very bad. We need to do something right now. Does the side of cancer stand to dismiss? Say, look, hang on, what you think and what you are saying is not as bad as it is. We still better, and despite the fact that clinically we are far ahead, hence the data is there already, but not as accurate as it could be.
Exactly. I mean, it is powers. I mean, in the third world, there's a lot to be done. We cannot rest our oars. We cannot just sit down and say that because it's a little bit better, we have to keep quiet about it. What you're doing and what other people are doing, I think, has some benefits to it. Although I don't also support people saying that there is nothing at all. I was in a meeting, and somebody said that, look, so a person asked a question to somebody who should know about cancer, and the person asked, "What if I have a cancer, what do I do?" And the person said, "There is nothing in the Gambia," and I think we should not. I mean, that's not true. That is very far from the truth. There's a lot being done. Lots of people are being saved in the Gambia for cancer. People don't know. In Edward Francis Small, his teaching hospital alone, there are lots of people who have had cancer treatment and have had cure from cancer. The only problem is that a lot more people are dying. The number of people that are dying, we don't want them to die.
Mhm,
More people are dying with us than are dying, for instance, in the UK.
mhm,
There were studies done for instance, breast cancer, where it was found out that a lot of the people who present die at the end of the day. But powers, we have to look at the reason why they die. It is not only because of the healthcare system. The healthcare system has a problem,
yeah.
but it's not only because of that. It is because of the lack of awareness. People come late. I am a trained urologist. I deal with male cancers. I train in the UK. In the UK, when I was training, every week I treat somebody, or at least one or two people. I do one or two operations for prostate cancer to cure them. And I was well trained to do that when I went to the Gambia. And it was only 2 years ago that I was able to do the first operation in the Gambia, not because I could not do it, not because I did not have the material to do it, but because every single person who came to me came late, and we could not do this operation for him. So it is not that it is not available. The treatment was available. The person to do it was there, but you could not do it because people were coming late. The first person to come was living in the Gambia, but was not a Gambian, and his wife was a doctor. That is how we got to get that patient. We are going to show that patient on the Health Link program at one point, just to also raise awareness about this. But it is not that the treatments are not available. It is that one of the reasons is that people are coming late. And one of the reasons for that is that people do not have much awareness. And that is why this confrontation part for the C3G, that is what we want to confront. We want to raise awareness. One of them is what we are doing today, talking on this program.
So in essence, we are dealing with more of a less aware society in regards to the disease than even the disease itself killing.
Exactly. So you can imagine prostate cancer is very, very common. By the age of 70, maybe 1 out of 6 or 7 men have prostate cancer. It's a big number. So every day I see patients, every day. But every day the people I see are people who are late. They are not aware about the cancer, so they come late. So if we can raise the awareness and they come early, then we can cure many more people from cancer. So raising the awareness alone is a very, very good thing to do, and many organizations should rise to raise awareness about cancer.
Doctor, don't you think people are aware, but because the influence of local traditional people shopping is stopping people from coming? Because sometimes
that is another dimension, Power. So it's very good that you mentioned this. That is also another dimension. But remember, the reason why they are doing that is lack of awareness. You understand what I mean? The reason underlying the fact that some people go to these traditional healers who cannot do anything about cancer is lack of awareness, both on the part of the patient himself and the part of the traditional healer who is trying to heal it. For instance, somebody has a lump in the breast, a small lump in the breast. And the person says, well, somebody has blown into my, or it's my child that blew into my breast because of lack of awareness. Or they say that it's my neighbor who has put this on me because of lack of awareness, and goes to the traditional healer. Mm-hmm. And the traditional healer decides that, the way to treat it is to put a hot metal in there. Mm-hmm. And then, you now have converted a cancer which was localized to a cancer that is higher grade, because it has now gone into the skin. So you have converted a small stage cancer or a low stage cancer to a high stage cancer. And that is what we are facing. That is what all the doctors in FSTH are facing. By the time the patient comes, it's already late cancer. And all you can do is just try to help them go through the pain. And when you do that, they lack confidence in you and say that, well, doctors in Gambia cannot do anything about it. Let me go to Senegal. And they go to Senegal and die there. And the Senegalese doctors now say, okay, Gambian doctors are not dealing with their cancers, and they're bringing them here at a late stage. All these things can be solved by awareness. I think if we can increase awareness so that people know that if I have a lump in my breast, it may be cancer. Let me go and see a proper doctor and get it diagnosed. So that people know that just looking at the lump, you cannot say it is exactly cancer or it is an infection. You have to do some tests. Then they will know that. Then they will go through the right channels, and we will be able to catch them in time to be able to save them.
I think funny enough, I saw one post recently on social media, somebody saying the same thing, that if you let Gambian doctors stop operating on people and they don't give you the aftercare that you need, go to Senegal. And I don't think Senegal have any better than Gambia, because of we are, like you mentioned, we are also doing good in getting this data. It is very important. Without having the data, you cannot give a projected amount in terms of how the speed and the rate of spread of this cancer is going to be. But again, it's also down to our traditional healers who also are not doing any better. And as part of this C3G and its mandate to do, would there not be better to also try to have these tete-a-tete workshops with these traditional healers and say, look, we can't rule them out in our society because
Of course, you can't. They have to be there.
yes,
Yes.
we grow up seeing them, and sometimes coming go here. I'm not there. So when I'm alum, yeah, then go bacha something.
Wow, 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 wow. I know that's yes.
You know, so the and I think it's high time we take our body very seriously. It's a
Yeah.
very complex structure, and everything is about scientific. I think, and a good example,
Yes.
we
Yeah.
have seen the BBC. They are saying that when we have outbreak or pandemic, what
Mhm.
more of a problem is always the infodemic,
Exactly.
the pandemic. Look at
Yes.
the recent coronavirus. We are seeing people saying,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, garlic, we will cure it." Now safarabini, and
Yes.
things are good, but it reduces the confidence that
Mm-hmm.
patient will have on the scientific personnel. And
Mm-hmm.
I know the medical profession is the highest thing to do because you can diagnose something and give a prescription to a patient. You
Mm-hmm.
can't did it small key and it duplicates your job because you have to be seeing the person again and again and again who is gonna reject doctor's advice. But having said
Yeah.
that, is the C3G working with government trying to put a legislation in regards to these complex diseases? Say, look, this should be out of the hands, or let there be a limitation, or let us regulate the traditional medicine.
Exactly. I think Paos, you've touched it. That is it. It's regulation. I think the medical profession is well regulated, and not every doctor can do anything that they want to do. I
Yeah.
think the traditional healers also should be regulated and educated, and I think it is part of the mandate of C3G. We have a 5-year document that we have made now, um, uh, with a log frame, and everything is timed and everything is objective in terms of the things that we want to do over the years. There are so much things to do about cancer that you cannot do it in one day. But it's one of the things that we need to work with government to regulate them so that when they see a breast lump, for instance, they will be aware that this could be cancer. And apart from the things that they're doing, they advise the patient that, look, go and see a doctor so that they can do a biopsy. I think they're doing that very well in Senegal, and that is why they are getting some headway in that regard. We also need to do that, where we will talk to our traditional healers. We will not throw them out. We will not say that we are throwing you out, because if you confront them, then that is where the problem is. But you sit down with them tete a tete, explain to them some of these things, explain to them some of the problems that you can have, and then they can also advise the people that, no, go to the hospital for this one and get it biopsied. I'm going to give you this safara or that safara, but go and do this in the hospital. Whatever they need to do, they do, but they don't harm people. One of the etiquettes in medicine that we swear to when we become doctors is,
Yeah.
above all, do no harm. And I think that is one of the things that also we should teach our traditional healers, that whatever you do, please don't do any harm as part of your treatment. I must come to that document that I saw, and I dismissed it. Unfortunately, it was even a healthcare professional who said that. The problem is a lot of people who are based in the West and have never come to the Gambia or don't know even what is happening in the Gambia on the ground. They
Yeah.
just base some of their judgment on what they're seeing in the media and things like that. I would have loved that person to come into the health service of the Gambia and see what is being done and see how many lives are being saved before saying that people are making the cancers worse in the Gambia. That is far from the truth. That
I,
is very far from the truth,
I
and
think
I think he should be careful what he says on media.
I think that was the height of misconception and information given out to the public. Because
Misinformation, yes.
and I said I totally dismiss it, I share it, and I condemn it, and I give an example
Mhm.
of my mom. And and
Yes.
and, and you don't expect to the last stage of a cancer where nothing can be done except an operation to remove a lump. I think the
Mhm.
distinction that you have to know is an operation to remove a lump is not an operation for cancer. Am I right or wrong in that?
Well, it is part of the treatment. You see, cancer is a multi-dimensional treatment. A lot of the cancers is not only one treatment. It's called a multimodal treatment. You treat it. Some of them only surgery alone will be enough. For instance, prostate cancer. If I get it early, I just do surgery and that's it. You don't need chemotherapy. You don't need hormone therapy. You don't need anything.
Mhm.
For early breast cancer, also you may just need the lump to be removed. For kidney cancer also, you may just need the lump to be removed. When it reaches a certain stage, you need to remove the lump, but also you need to give chemotherapy. In some stages, you need to give radiotherapy. So it's a multimodal treatment, and the doctor will know what to do at the time that it's supposed to be done. But just to say that, even in the West here, some of the treatment, some of the people get the surgery first, then after weeks, then they can now determine which cancer it is. It's after you determine which cancer it is from the pathology, then you decide what chemotherapy to give, what radiotherapy to give, how long to give it, and all that stuff. So I think it was misinformation. But part of one of the treatments for cancer is the removal of the lump. And actually, to be honest, it is the most effective in most lumps. Once you remove it, if it is confined to where it is, then it is over.
Okay, thank you. Doctor, I'm seeing here a document. Later on,
Mhm.
I'll come to the activities of the C3G, and we will look at the most common cancer that we're gonna talk about, and hence is a National Women's Celebration or Month.
Yeah, we'll look at a woman's cancer. Yeah.
We would also wanna see or wanna hear what are the preventive measures and what women should do to make sure they stay safe and also they are because we had this program not long ago with Dr. Jate about the preventive measures of the cancer and when do you go or when do you also do the self-examination. And we
Mhm.
know some recently you have done an activity with some Indians, I think last year with Standard Chartered Bank, and this year also
Mhm.
something was done. But looking at these figures and these statistics here that we have, is government aware of these figures?
Yes, I think government is aware data who deal with cancer in the Gambia to now raise the awareness, raise the bar, and say, no, 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 you guys are forgetting a very important aspect, which is now probably killing more people than infectious diseases. We need to also put it in the forefront and try to fight it. And that is what we are trying to do with this type of organization, is to bring it to the forefront and let people hear about it again and again and again, and then maybe it will be put where it belongs in it. And as I said, even in the UK here, you have cancer societies,
Yeah.
the Macmillan and many other societies that are dealing with cancer because it's just too expensive. A lot of the research being done is not being done by the government, is being
No.
done by NGOs, is being sponsored by NGOs because it's just very, very expensive to deal with. And that is what we are trying to reach out some of those funds and try to deal with cancer.
Hello? Yeah. Doctor, are you there?
I am there again. Yes, I'm here.
Yes, sorry. Yes, sorry, listeners. I was trying to do something and then I could see you. I can, your video went dark.
Okay, I think it should be back now.
Let me bring you down
Yeah.
and up again.
Do you want me to go out and in again?
Yes, please, because I can see you. Yes. Listeners, we apologize for that technical glitch. You are watching Voice Out Digital as part of the International Women's Celebration, and we have our guest here today, who is Dr. Jeff from the C3G. Doctor, yes, you are back. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why I can't see you.
I am back. Your browser has lost connection. I don't know what's going on.
I your screen is black.
My screen is black. Okay.
Let me see this. I don't know why I can't see you.
Okay, let me just.
You are back now. Yes.
I'm back now.
Yes. So
Okay.
yeah, Doctor, I think we were talking about the support and also the whether the government is aware of these figures and what they are doing, and also we did talk about the awareness and how much people would be ready to go in for treatment in a medical and adhere to the advice of doctors rather than traditional healers. These are all obstacles that every medical practitioner would cry off. People will get sick, come to hospitals, in Ege, they go and get the traditional healers, Lenjo, Iran, and you see a lot of Minan Ahdede, these are all things. But and I've seen here that you were carrying, you did some work. The C3G did some work last year. I'll show this thing to the view. I'll bring it up on the screen. Maybe we could talk about this thing. I think this was you. And this was you and some members of your organization who were doing some voluntary tests at the Banjul. Can we talk about the resources that you have, and also um, talk about if we suspect something unusual within the body, and what should we do? Where should we go? Do we have this in the Gambia? Is the government or any partners providing these kind of health fairs that people can walk in and say, look, have voluntary tests as we have in Europe and America?
Yeah, it's a very complex thing, and I'm going to go back to this awareness issue. The thing is that there are some facilities. We don't have all the facilities. We cannot claim to have all the facilities in the Gambia. We need more facilities. And that is one of the things that this organization wants to come into. And maybe later in the program, we'll talk about the grant that we have now to bring in some facilities to help cancer.
Doctor, are you there?
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now, but we cannot see you unless if you go out and come in again.
Actually, I have just gone out and come in. I'm just back in now.
Back in. Okay, let me see. Yes. Yes.
Okay, can you see me?
Yes.
Better. Okay. So basically, what I am saying is that there are some facilities. We don't have all the facilities. We want to bring in a lot of the facilities that can be available. But the thing that can save lives most is the awareness when to go to the hospital, and what to take, what to do when you have a problem. A lot of these cancers. Are you with me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. A lot of these cancers, their symptoms are in the beginning very, very vague, and that is why people must be aware about these vague symptoms, to be able to go for help when they need help.
Mm.
So, for instance, let us say breast lumps. The problem with breast lumps is that cancer lumps are not painful. And many people see a small lump and they say, well, it is not painful. I'm just going to watch it and leave it there. That was an opportunity lost when you saw that lump to go to the hospital and look at it. The traditional healer cannot look at it and tell you it's a cancer or not a cancer, but the doctor can look at it and do some tests
Yeah.
and be able to tell you whether it is a cancer or not.
Yeah.
Even the doctor cannot just look at it just with the eyes and say it's a cancer or not a cancer. He can look at it with the eye and say, yes, I'm suspicious, but we need to do a biopsy. We need to test it. We need to take it to the lab before you can finally say this is a cancer. That is just for breast lump. There are some other cancers. I mean, for women, since we're talking about women, there is cervical cancer, which is also a very common cancer in the Gambia for women. And again, it has some symptoms like abnormal vaginal bleeding. Abnormal vaginal bleeding could be anything, okay? But one of the things it can be is a cancer. So you don't ignore it. When you see blood, when you're not supposed to see blood, don't ignore it. Go to the hospital. And finally, the last thing I will tell people is that don't even wait. Like you are saying now, in Europe, you can just go to the hospital and say, look, I want to do a cancer screen. There are some cancers that are being screened. Even if you don't go and say, I want to do a screen, in some states in the US, if you reach 50, they have your records. They will call you at your home and say, look, you need to come and do your prostate screening so that they catch you early. Because if they catch you early, they can cure you. If they don't catch you early, they cannot cure you. So sometimes don't wait to be ill. Just go to the hospital. And in the Gambia, some of the basic tests can be done. I can examine you, if it's a woman, examine your breast, do an internal examination on you, do an ultrasound scan on you. 90% of the cancers I will be able to rule out. I'll be able to say, look, you don't have these cancers, at least for now. And 90% of the cancers, if they are there, I should be able to find them early. So this is an advantage that people must use to be able to get their cancers early. If we don't do that, we will continue to see cancers late, and we will not be able to help those people who have the cancers.
Yep. But doctor, when you say you can do, are we talking about you as in a private doctor?
And
or
no. When I am talking about just the health care system in the
okay.
Gambia,
Yes.
the healthcare system can take care of some of these things. We can take care of a lot of these things.
Okay.
We don't have a PET scan in the Gambia, so we cannot do a PET scan. We don't have some of the tumor markers that are available to try to screen some cancers. But I can tell you that the majority of cancers, if you go to a doctor in the Gambia, they will be able to pick it up either in the private or in the public.
Yeah, but why? How come then, doctor? If you go to RVTH, Edward
Edward Francis Moore, EFSTH.
Yes. How come then people to say, well, when you go, even if you have a high blood, they say you got malaria. If you got a cancer, they said you get
Yeah, this is what I am talking about, Powers. This is what I'm talking about. This is all a lot of misinformation going on. I can talk independently now because I am most of my work. I am doing it privately now. I am helping out in Banjul. But if I say something, it is not because I'm trying to protect the place that I am working in. It is because it is the reality on the ground. And if we lose this fact, we are going to continue to suffer. Because if you have something that is available and you say it is not available, you're going to continue to suffer. Yeah. You see, if people say that, if you go to Gambia, if you go to the Banjul, RVTH, and you have malaria and somebody says you have cancer, it is a gross exaggeration of the situation. And it can only cause problems. It can only cause people to lack confidence in the system. One of the things that Senegal has above us now, you have said it here, is they don't have much more in terms of equipment. They don't have much more in terms of training of their doctors. You know, some of us work in the highest places. You know, we work in the best hospitals in the UK, and we work also in the Gambia. So it is not that we don't have highly qualified people there. It's because people don't have trust because of all these things that are going around. There is no way, even the people that we've trained yesterday, we train doctors in the Gambia now. Some of them are now working in the UK. We have trained doctors totally in the Gambia, and they are now working in the UK because they are of good quality.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is that, you know, to say that a Gambian doctor will see malaria and say this is a cancer, it's a gross exaggeration. It is not possible for somebody with the slightest training to see malaria and say this is a cancer, or to see an obvious cancer and say that this is something else. It is going to be difficult for that to happen. Yes, I agree, and I must confess that there are some misses. People miss some diagnosis. Sometimes either because of negligence, sometimes because they have not assessed the patient properly. But it's not as bad as this. It's not this like this exaggeration that they're saying. A lot of people are being diagnosed properly. They are being seen. So let us say that 90% of people come with cancer, or 100 people come with cancer. I can tell you for sure 95 or 96% of them are getting the right diagnosis. And it is just, you know, that some people don't come at the right time, and we are not giving that much focus to cancer.
Yeah, I think I would quite agree with, even here in the UK, we always have those misdiagnosed.
Oh yeah, there are lots of misses. I'm currently in the UK, and I have seen just the last 2 weeks that I've been here a few misdiagnoses that you know. So it does happen everywhere, because let us remember, doctors are humans.
Yeah.
And as a human being, you are like a detective. A patient comes to you. If he does not tell you the things that he needs to tell you, you will miss a diagnosis.
Yeah.
You know, if he hides some, you know, you get an old woman come to you and say, doctor, everything in my body pains from my head to the toe. And you try to get from her the exact place that is paining her, and she will not be able to tell you, because she wants to exaggerate it for you, so that, because they believe that when they exaggerate it for you, you'll give them better medication. You understand what I mean? So at the end of the day, to get the real information from her is very difficult. And therefore, there is that chance that you will miss the diagnosis. Number two, also, when you talk to her and you want to now do the tests, this is where some of the challenges are also. And that is where C3G has come in, and we're going to bring some equipment to be able to test some certain things. But you want to do the test, and it is not available. Now, more and more things are being available. There was a time there was no CT scan in the Gambia. 10 years ago, there was no CT scan in the Gambia. Now we have CT scan. Now we have an MRI scan. So things are beginning to happen in the Gambia. Now, if people don't make use of those equipment, then it is just going to be there for nothing.
Yeah, but doctor, having these machines is one thing, and having to afford to get these tests is another thing right now.
You are absolutely right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And that is where also C3G wants to come in. You are absolutely right. A CT scan in the Gambia now costs about, I think, $2,000 or $3,000. It's chicken change. But for Gambians, no, I'm coming. It is chicken change for people in Europe. But for Gambians, it is not chicken change.
No.
It is somebody's salary. Some people, their whole salary is that 2,000 or 3,000. And you say, just go and do a CT scan, a 10 minutes, 15 minutes test, you pay. This is in the public hospital. You're not even talking about private hospital. There's no private hospital. There's no private hospital with a CT scanner. If a private hospital came in, I think there is one. There is one private place with a CT scanner. They will charge about 5,000.
See?
That's a lot of money, isn't it? And that is also very cheap for a CT scan if you're talking about Western. And remember, the machines come from the West.
Exactly.
So if they come from the West, they cost what it costs everybody, and you want to do it at a cheap price, you cannot maintain it. And that is why we are not maintaining some of the things that we want to. And that is why the equipment that we're bringing in, we want to do something where we're going to do these tests free of charge for cancer patients.
Yes.
And we are going to try to raise the funds for that.
Yes. I think we, after, in the end, we'll come to that response and to having, because one of the biggest problems is it's not that whether it's available or not.
Or not. Yes, it is because affordability. I agree with you.
Exactly.
It's affordability. I have seen a lot of patients and I've told them you need to do a CT scan, and they say they just leave me there and go, and I never see them again because they cannot afford it.
Exactly. And in return, what they will say is the blame goes back to the Gambia or Bahut.
Exactly.
And some people taking advantage of those things to even respond and go
so you can imagine that Paos, that the patient comes in, even had a fall, and you say do an X-ray. An X-ray, I think in Banjul is about is it 300, or it's a very cheap thing in the teaching hospital, and the patient doesn't have the money. So and then they go and they say, well, the doctor could not diagnose me. How can I diagnose somebody with a fracture when I don't have an X-ray?
I think people.
This is the problem. This is one of the problems that is happening here.
Yes, I think it's very important also for the talkatives to know what is behind that thing, because if Dr. can't know what if Dr. can't give me an accurate diagnostic of what I have in my body, well, the eyes can't see. You have to go on ultrasound.
You have to do some tests to see.
Yes, exactly.
You have to do scan.
Yes, and like I said, I think we have to agree on something. I've been speaking to my uncle, Dr. Kabicham. He said to me, Gambia, despite what we think is bad, we have one of the best healthcare system in Africa.
It's true. Absolutely. I agree with him.
Yes. And the documentation.
I agree with him.
And even the health policy of the Gambia is one of the best in West Africa. Not the best.
I agree with him. Yeah, but one of the best.
Yes. And
as I told you in the beginning, we have a cancer registry. How many countries can boast of that in the Africa?
There we go. You know, and Senegal would not include you, us Gambian patients, in their register. They would not, or if only if they want to do some dodgy deal, if they want to exaggerate the cost that they request from government, that's when they're going to do that. But by just statistics, Senegal will not do that. But again, C3G exists, like I said, to confront and to care, and also the most important part, which is the care bit, and which is not available in the Gambia, and which I think we are very, very so much used to that word, caring for the last days of an individual. I know we have one in the Gambia, but it's not being used. But not just in them in homes, but also there are certain treatment and care you need at that level, which nobody else can do. But how is C3G gonna manage at that stage where a cancer patient is at his or her last stage in life? What is available? Do you have a center? Do you have a clinic? Do you have trained personnel who will be doing that thing?
At the moment, we don't have. We want to raise funds and start what we call a hospice. One of the things about end of life care in cancer is keeping the patient comfortable during the end of life, because a lot of people now, if you see them die of cancer, it's a painful death, because it's a lot of pain that is involved. And we have many ways of doing that. Some people can be cared for at home, because we have a very strong social fabric in Gambia, where people, here in the West, when they have end of life, they just go to hospices straight away, because they don't have the social fabric to be able to care for people. In the Gambia, we have the family. So we can support families, for instance, by making sure that we give them available painkillers to keep the patient. This is called tender loving care, TLC. So we give them the painkillers that they require, the anti-vomiting medications that they require, the vitamins that they require, the sleep medications that they require, so that they can have a very comfortable period during the end of their life. So we can do it either in the homes of their homes, where there is a good social support. If there is no social support, we want to also get a land from the government and build a hospice where people can come in and have end of life care, just like here they have hospices And a lot of the hospices are not only sponsored by, for instance, in the UK, are not only sponsored by the government. There's a
Yeah.
lot of charities that sponsor the hospices, because even the end of life care is not a cheap care. It's not an easy care. You need very qualified people to deal with them. You need to pay those people. You need very expensive medications to deal with them, and you need those things also to be sponsored.
Yeah, but these things, like you said, well, in the UK we have something like that, but a
Yeah.
percentage is also been given. I think they get subventions from
Oh, of course, the government, they'll get subvention, and
so
also hopefully we want to work with the government in that line to get some subvention, but start a hospice where
it,
people with end of life can be.
is government so far cooperative with what you're doing?
Yes, yes, the government is very cooperative, thankfully, with what we're doing. When we had the grant, the minister himself came and attended the grant signature with the Japanese government, and they know what we're doing, and they are cooperating with us in the things that we want to do. And I expect maximum support from the government, because it's the only way that we can do it. And they also know that they need us in this because they cannot do it alone. I think once they realize that and they work with us, we can work with them to make sure that the
Okay.
plight of cancer patients in the Gambia is made better.
Doctor, also, would C3G have any influence or say in the Gambia health budget?
Well, I remember that when the Parliament was discussing the budget, the health budget, they invited me to talk about the situational analysis of the Gambian health, and I did go there and talk to them. Yes, we will try to influence some of those things. But this is C3G is a charity organization; it's an NGO. All we can do is help where we are needed, and also to give advice, but we don't make the policies.
But we would at some point have influence in policy, because if policies are designed well, as we know the history of policy, one of the things that you may have looked at was who designed the policy and for who. Were they present when it was designed? Because if you don't know,
Exactly.
or if there is no tete-a-tete meeting with C3G or any other kind of NGO with the government, then drafting a budget for the health would be pointless, because they wouldn't know what they need as what had been.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. I think that in that line we are when we talk about the membership of the C3G, there are some high level people who are members of the C3G and also in the government, and there is that support. I know that there is that support
okay.
there.
And we have seen this, or we've had this picture here, and we've seen you in your nice suit and with the Japanese. By the way, this was not recently, so in case we're thinking about the coronavirus thing, this was
Yes.
yes. So I have seen
Just about a few weeks ago. This is just about 3 weeks ago or so.
So what
or 4 weeks.
What we've seen the minister and
Yes, the director of health was there, minister of health was there, the members of C3G were there, the media was there.
So what can we say this occasion was? What happened?
Yes, C3G was able to apply for a grant that the Japanese embassy gives the Japanese government for developing countries for some projects, and we had a competitive application where there were, I think, about 3 or 4 other organizations in the Gambia who applied for it, and our project won it. It is for about 50,000 euros to buy laboratory equipment to support cancer treatment in the Gambia. And
Wow.
we have collaborated with government in this. The lab will be situated in the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. The C3G will run it. But the hospital will provide the location for it. So we will equip the lab. We will run the lab. We will employ the people who are working in the lab. We will raise the funds to buy the reagents for the lab, which is very, very expensive. We're already collaborating with some of the parastatals in the Gambia and some individuals. We will raise the funds for that, so that any cancer patient needs to do a test in the Gambia, we will do it free of charge.
Mm.
For the hospital, but it's only going to be for cancer patients. I know the minister raised there that, but when it is located in the hospital and we have a very sick patient, we cannot tell the sick patient, but you're not a cancer patient, we cannot do this test for you when it is available. What we have to remember is that all these things have to be put in place. The thing is that if somebody else needs it, if they didn't have it, what they will do is they'll either go to the private or they'll go to Senegal and get it done. This is for cancer. So we will have to make some reasonable charges so that will go back to the cancer patients, because our work is actually for the cancer patients, and we have to concentrate on that. But that's how we're going to do it.
So in summary, there will be free tests available to cancer patients, and if you are not a cancer patient and you want a test, we
will do it, but you will be charged for it
at the minimal price
just at the cost price, so that we can recover the costs.
Yeah, I think that is fair enough, because it will be far cheaper than even going to the private hospitals.
Yes, it will be cheaper. It will be cheaper than going to private hospitals. It will be cheaper than going anywhere else.
Then I think that is a fair deal, and I hope and anyway, the honest that if a machine is available for cancer, it's all it's for cancer.
Yes, that is it. This is for cancer. It was donated for cancer. It was the grant was for cancer. We are raising the funds for cancer, so it is for cancer. And I'm sure it will be understood. That is why it is going to be run by a different administration from the hospital administration. It has nothing to do with the hospital. It is there. The hospital doctors will request the test, and they will prove that this is a cancer patient, and then we can deal with it as a cancer patient.
So, what is the sustainability of this project? Hence, it's a grant.
Yes.
And the machines are there, and I'm sure the grant did not cater for paying for the staff, or did it pay? Or
no. It does not cater for paying for the staff. It does not cater for the reagents. It caters only for the equipment. So it now is going to depend on how much support we have from the people, and that is why such programs are very good for people to listen to. And it is for the good, for the social responsibilities that people have, the government, the parastatals have, the banks have, the embassies that are there in the Gambia. We're going to approach all of them. We invited them to the signing in ceremony, and some of them attended. So it's a matter of just raising the funds. I am very optimistic, and I know that the Gambian people are good people. The people doing business there are also good people. And if we give them a laudable course, they will be ready to put their money in it. A lot of times in these things, the problem is the people who are doing the fundraising. A lot of people, they fundraise for their own good. And this is where now I want to talk about the people who are running C3G. These are all people who are very accomplished people who have no need for any funds from anywhere. They are actually putting their own money. Since C3G started, it is the C3G trustees who have been putting their own money and donating their own time to run this thing. So once I think it is clear that people know that this thing is going to go where it is supposed to go, and it is all very transparent, then I am optimistic that we're going to raise the funds. We've already started anyway.
Yes, but Doctor, if any project that is wholly and solely relying on public funding, can one presume that the durability of that project is going to be 50-50? But is there any allowance for government to come in at any point?
Well, I think we don't want a situation where that happens, but if the machines are there, and they are in a government facility, and we have a situation where we are running out of reagents, and we don't have the funds to replace the reagents, I hope we don't get to that, then definitely the government may have to look at how to help with that. But remember that government is already overburdened. And sometimes even the machines that they have there, the reagents are not available. So sometimes even the most basics of tests we cannot do it because there are challenges of funding. So we cannot depend. That is why I'm saying that we are trying to complement the efforts of government. So we cannot depend on them to run this thing. We have to do everything we can. All of us as members of this C3G, we have to do everything we can to make sure that this is durable for the benefit of the people that are going to that are going to use it. And as I said, I am optimistic. We have a good team, and now we have been strengthened our team with some younger doctors and other professionals who are joining the organization so that we can help each other to make sure that these things are done.
Yes, listeners, I think we've heard what Doctor is saying. The sustainability and the durability of that project will depend on the continuous fundraising that we'll be having and we'll be creating after this program. And they have also, there's a page, there is a Facebook page for the C3G. And we also will encourage people to visit and like the page. And that's where we will have or create the fundraiser. And if individuals also wants to create a fundraiser, you are highly welcome, because cancer is the fastest killer, I think, in the Gambia, and the saddest thing is you may have it and not know what you have, and you will guessing that danga am lini, danga am lele, and it does not tell well. Let's faith on the
See,
Gambia.
even here, even in the UK where you are, you find out that even these cancer charities, like some of the big charities that are here, people donate very small amounts to them, but it is a regular donation. People create direct debits, £1, £2 every month. You put it in. It will not affect you in any way, but it goes to the charity, and the charity is sustainable. They have millions that they are using on research. They are giving people. So I think, as I said, it depends on our people whether they will put their money in it so that this is sustainable. It will be a shame if we bring such expensive machines and we sit down one day and say, well, we don't have money to buy reagents for the people who need it. I think it'll be a big shame if everybody decided in the Gambia, for instance, now to put, let us say, $50 or $20 per month into this thing, and then everybody decides, the people like you in the UK say, okay, every month I'll put £1 into this. We will not lack funds to do all these tests that we want to do.
And this is also for the benefit of our families, friends.
Exactly. Back home.
And remember, the worst case scenario is to go to Dakar, and why not pay? Why pay $1,000 in Dakar when you have paid £1 in Gambia
exactly
5 years ago? So there's a message.
Exactly.
And do you, at the moment, do you have any partners, or we have seen the Cancer League, the Gambia, some very brave women who wanted to raise funds and buy a mammogram in the Gambia. Now, what is the stance of C3 or C3G in those kind of activity?
Yeah, I mean, we encourage activities of people to come together and work together in cancer. But C3G is one of the ones that started before all these things started. And we have a very robust plan. And we want to go by our plan to make sure that we achieve the things that we are going to achieve. We will collaborate with any other group so that we see the common good and help the one person that we are all trying to help, which is the cancer patient. And we cannot get only one cancer group in the Gambia. It is not going to, we can concentrate on some certain things, and then some other people to concentrate on certain things. But there, I am aware that now there are a few more groups coming in. But the one that is really only for cancer in the Gambia now, it is C3G that is only concentrated on cancer. The other groups are concentrating on other things apart from cancer.
And also, it's a good job that nearly within 2 years, we need to get €50,000 And
Exactly. Oh yes, we have shown that, yeah, there's something that can be done. Yes.
yes, and also last year you had this this cancer screening where 200
Yes.
patients were screened by the
Yes.
C, C3.
C3G.
Yes,
Yes. The year before it was only C3G that did it. Then the year after we were joined by the league, and they also so we did a bigger one with them.
so doctor,
But the first year was us only who did it.
during the screening, were you surprised of the outcome and what you have seen, or how was it? Was it a surprise?
It
Um,
was it was a surprise. The first one was really, we didn't expect to see that number. We were very happy that there was very good presence from the ministry, from other from the state house. The first lady attended, but we were surprised of the
no,
numbers that came out.
yeah, I'm talking about. Did you? I'm talking about in regards to the outcome of the test.
Yeah, the
The-
outcomes of the test. We no no no. We were able to get a few patients that we had later on took to Banjul, and we have been able to deal with their situations. But yes, it is expected. As I said, we have the registry, we have the numbers, we know the numbers that are there. And a lot of people are not aware. The only thing is to raise the awareness. I remember one time in my program, not in my clinic in Banjul, a lady came in and was saying to her, after my clinic, she just passed me on the road and said, "Look, I came to see you in your clinic, but I couldn't see you, but I want to talk to you." And I said, "What's the issue?" And she said, "Well, I heard you talking about cervical cancer, and I decided to go to get tested, and I was tested, and I was given the treatment, and now I am cured. So I just came to say thank you." And there are lots of those things like that at the moment now. People are being cured. A lot of people don't know their stories, but people are being cured just because they went early. The
yeah.
cervical cancer screening that is happening in the Gambia. There is a cervical cancer screening in the Gambia for women, since we're talking about Women's Month, where people go in and they get examined and they get a test done and they can find out if they have cancer early or not, and they can cure them at the spot. 5 minutes, 10 minutes treatment, and you can be prevented from having a full-blown cancer. And many people are benefiting from it now. And even, in fact, this grant, one of the machines we have brought is something called a coagulation machine, where we can treat cancer, cervical cancer, even in the village. We'll take the machine to the village, and if we discover anybody who has early cancer, we can treat. We cannot treat it for late cancer, but for early cancer, we can cure.
Yes, I think I was going to come to that. The accessibility for people who live 200 miles away from Banjul,
Yes.
because most of these works are only centered within the Greater Banjul areas. So,
That is true.
yes, so
We are collaborating with a clinic in the Gambia which has a mobile clinic,
mhm,
a very good mobile clinic that was used in both of the cancer screenings.
mhm.
And we can drive that mobile clinic. It has 3 rooms in it, where you can examine patients, where you can give treatment. It is fully air conditioned, so we can drive it to any nook or corner in the Gambia, and we spend 2 days, 3 days, and see people in their doorsteps.
That's good. So the message now is that if any lady should walk into the RVH tomorrow, they can get a cervical cancer checked.
Not only in the RVTH. In RVTH, they can get it. They can get it in SOS. They can get it in Bundung maternal care. They can get a cervical screening done there. Cervical cancer.
And well, this might sound strange, but what is the rate of death amongst women as far as cancer is concerned? This is not to scare people, but we have to know the figures. We have to know that this cancer, this is real. People will have it and just be joking about it. Instead of spending $5,000 on your body for cancer, you want to spend, so
Exactly.
yeah. So what is the rate of death? I know the Gambia again, we are not very firm with these figures. We don't, or am I wrong to
Yes.
say that?
No, no, no. I think you're not wrong to say that. We're still struggling with the correct figures. Even on the top of my head now, I can't remember exactly the exact numbers that are dying, but there are big numbers that are dying from cancer. The 5 year survival, the last time it was checked, the 5 year survival, meaning that from the time you're diagnosed to the time that you die, what is the survival is close to zero for breast cancer. The reason being that a lot of women come very late during the course of the disease. So they don't survive very, very long. But honestly, I cannot give you a correct figure at the moment now.
Okay. How about counseling? Is that something that is part of the 50,000 grant? Is there any package to counsel patients to
No,
take them?
the 50,000 euro grant is not for, it's just for equipment. We are going to raise funds also. As I said, we have a strategic plan, 5 year strategic plan that we have already done for the C3G, which we are going to publish. It's a several hundred-page document, and we're going to work with partners to make sure that we achieve a lot of these things. And some of them is just like you said, is counseling. Some of them is making posters. Some of them is talking in the radio shows. Some of them is traveling to the nooks and corners and telling them about cancer and how to realize cancer. So there are lots of work that we need to do. And hopefully, once we get this laboratory going, which is our first step, we will be able to work on all these other fronts.
And doctor, is this creating awareness being extended to the Gambia University health medical students to get their hands on the early signs of this cancer, to know what is what before they've been dispatched to
Oh yes, so they get adequate training, they get good training. That's why I said that when people are saying that Gambian doctors are diagnosing this for that, I laugh, because these people are adequately trained for that. Some of them are now doing research, both in the UK here and in the MRC in Banjul, on cancers and things like this. They are very highly qualified.
Yeah,
They have been trained very well. Yeah,
I think I know one person, Dr. Job, who even
exactly.
the government offered job, but he said no.
Yeah.
Yes, he's here every week to do a research
Yes.
at Oxford University.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So they and we trained. I mean, they are trained by us in the Gambia. So all I'm saying is that we have highly qualified people. Should stop this notion of belittling the Gambian doctors, because they're doing such a great job. They're doing such a great job. The Gambian trained doctors, the ones that are trained in the Gambia, I am very proud of them. They're doing great jobs. Some of them are holding very high positions, and some of them I can hold my head high that they can practice anywhere in the world and they will be respected.
Yeah, and one person, I think I was very surprised when I heard Dr. Job saying that he graduated from the Gambia University. I was very
Oh
surprised.
yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yeah. And he's not the only one. Let me tell you, we have
Yeah.
lots of them. We have lots of them. I can name many of them now who are doing great jobs.
Then I think, well, the like you said, that we need to have confidence in what we have, and
Exactly.
try to
And
find.
try to improve it. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. We need to have confidence in what we have and try to improve it, rather than always um, uh, putting down our own. Our own is always the worst. We just want to say always that we are the worst, we are the worst, we are the worst, and then people don't respect our own products, and our own products are good.
Yeah, and well, doctor, I think you do have radio programs and TV
Mhm.
programs. How about, because the Facebook is tend to be the second republic of the Gambia in
Yeah,
Facebook, and
yeah.
this is where everything happens. This is where we
Mhm.
raise funds. This is where patients come in and seek for support, and
Mhm.
this is where things happen, and
Mhm.
we tend to believe more on what we see on social media than even
Exactly.
TV. So,
Yeah.
is C3G planning to have like a monthly talk shows on or health clinic? Are we seeing many of those things?
Yeah, I think it is part of our strategic plan. It is all in the strategic plan. Yes, we are going to engage a lot of these media houses to see that it's part of the raising awareness raising. Yes, I think it's a good thing that you're mentioning it, but definitely yes, it's part of our strategic plan.
Yeah, and also, well, VOD, is those are open
Fantastic. Thank you
for
very much. Yeah, in fact, even the radio program and the TV programs I do also, we are talking a lot about cancers now, and raising the awareness.
Thank you very much. And Doctor, is there
Thank
any
you.
last or final words that you want to put out to people? I know we must emphasize the issue of the fundraising. That is
Yep.
very important. And straight from here, I think in the next coming or before the end of this one, we will put up a fundraiser
Yeah.
for people to support.
Yeah.
And personally, I rather support in that cause than wait for until my family member wants to go to Dakar.
Yes.
Then I will give more than
Then you spend much more. Then you spend
that.
much more. You spend
So
much more.
that is logic. Do the maths.
Yes.
Give
Yeah.
one
Do the
pound
mathematics.
now
Yes.
or give £10 later on. And
Exactly.
of losing a family member.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
So,
Sure. Sure.
so what is the final message from
Well,
you, Dr. Yap, to the people?
first of all, I thank you very much, Paos, for hosting me on this program. And the thing is that we are all doing it for our own people, and everybody. We should all put our hands on deck to try to help this cause. It is not an easy thing, but as you said, it is some sort of an insurance. If you pay £1 every month or £2 every month, it's much easier than somebody calling you from home and saying that, look, I need to go and do a test in Dakar. It is going to cost me $500 or £500, and I need a fare to go, and I need to stay in a hotel when I'm doing it. And then it's going to take time. By the time you give the money, by the time they travel, they may even arrive late. And then what you're talking about is now the funeral, or even paying for the body to come back to the Gambia, because a lot of things is a lot of time that is happening now. People go alive and then they come back on a body bag, because they died there. It is better to die. It is more honorable to die with your family at your home than dying in somewhere where you have to be transported back home. So, as you said, it is an insurance. Paying £1 every, you are going to save your family, and you're going to save other people. So I think it's a very good cause to contribute to. And I thank the viewers and the listeners, and I am encouraging you. We are going to approach all of you in the near future to donate to this cause, and you can be rest assured that the money that you put in is going to go directly into this cause, and not anything else. Thank you very much, Paos.
Yeah, and also thank you also for your time, Doctor. And we would want to have you more and more every day. If possible, we would try and have you or any of your executive members once every month, and we raise funds and we raise the awareness, because I think the awareness is more we need than even anything else. Because
anything else, yes, I think it will save more lives than anything else.
Yes,
awareness itself will save life than even the treatment. Let me tell you that.
So I'll put down here. We, like I said, there is a page. The C3G have a page.
Fantastic.
Yes, and people can we have all the contacts there. Or if you contact me myself or one of the executive members, Dr. Ja is on, I think it's on Facebook. Or we could direct, or if you could contact VOD to get access to the C3G, we will always give you directions, whether you or your family member in the Gambia. And the earlier we intensify this campaign, the better for us all in the Gambia. If Europe, we are doing it, why can't Gambia?
Exactly.
We will at some point, Doctor, if you would mind, we could have another program where it's going to be a £1 campaign for every Gambian.
Exactly, for every Gambian and abroad, yeah, £1 or $1, depending on where you are.
€1 and
one, yeah.
Yes, that could be a minimum payment you could do every month, and we are looking to have €50,000 for startups.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now we want to get up to 100,000 euro. So,
Exactly.
so now, and the remaining 50,000 is up to us as Gambians as a commitment fee, as a commitment
Yeah.
towards the cure of this disease and research. We
Exactly.
can't do research,
Exactly.
we could cure.
Exactly. We
So,
can.
so
Yeah.
and as we see you on TV, radio, you fight and for nothing, and these are valuable times, and we
Yes. Yes.
need to compensate the efforts of other people. We need to have faith in our Gami healthcare system. We have good doctors,
Mhm.
though we don't have the best machines in the world, but we have
Mhm.
what it takes to get them.
Exactly. It takes money to
And
get them, so we
yes,
must be ready to put in.
once they are there, we have people who are already trained to get on with the job. So
So
it's now up to us Gambians and to have confidence in our healthcare system. It's bad, but again, it's the patient and the doctor.
yep.
No matter
Yep.
how much billions of money we give, and if patients don't respect advice of doctors and don't utilize what they're doing, then we be saying
It's
it's bad.
useless. It's useless. Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
so we are all part of this. We are all part of it, and let's have good faith and let's intensify the campaign. And we will in due course we will share links and how people can support. And then we wish you all the best of luck. And then
Thank you.
and let us keep safe. Make sure you check yourself. Do not have a second thought before going to hospital. Whatever is foreign in the body, it shouldn't be there. It shouldn't be there. It looks like something. So,
Yep.
doctor, thank you very much for your time,
Thank you
and
very much, Paros. Thank you
have
very much.
some time
And
next week.
have a good rest of the day. Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you, our listeners. Um, kon guy jërë ngeen jëf. This was me, Pa Us, on Voice Out Digital as part of the International Women's Celebration Day. We deem it fit to bring in Dr. Jadid Scott with us, cancer and its effects, and C3G in their recent 48,000 euro project that they secure from the Japan government. So until we meet again, thank you.